Hey, what's up? Good afternoon. Thanks for hanging in there. This is the Leafs Convo. Norman London, Mike in Buffalo, Season 8, Episode 22, the 25th of January, 2026. The Maple Leafs on their home game swing. No wins, Mike. 1 point in 4 games with a game to go with the Buffalo Sabres, who are red hot. What a boatload of fun it is. A 4-1 loss to the Avalanche at Scotiabank Arena on Sunday afternoon. Mr. Augello, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the things we can talk about regarding these beleaguered Maple Leafs. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Norm. I may be wrong. And sometimes I am. But the season is over with. They needed to have success on this homestand before going on the road for, I think it's 4 before the Olympic break. It was a tough schedule. You had, Detroit, who's leading the Atlantic Division, and the three of the best teams in the West before playing the hottest team in the NHL, the Buffalo Sabres. And they were flat against Minnesota. They got a great performance out of Joseph Woll in the game against Detroit, but a rookie mistake by Easton Cowan in overtime, which I think should have been a tripping penalty on Mort Seider, but they didn't call it that way. That cost them the game-winning goal for Larkin. And then the abomination, the absolute frigging atrocity that was the game against Vegas. And then today put the cherry on top of the sundae with a pretty, it was a one-sided, it wasn't a no-show, but, there's a common thread with this team recently in terms of completely brain-dead, pulseless starts. And when you're playing against the best team in the NHL right now, and you give them the first 2 goals, I'm sorry, you're behind the 8 ball, and once they got down 2-0, I think it was pretty much over with.
Hey, this is the Convo. Norman London, Mike in Buffalo, and you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Whatever you guys can do to support us, we appreciate you. Hopefully you're not too snowed in, and if you had to go out today, you got home safe. It is what it is. It's late January, folks. We don't like it when it's this cold and this snowy, but what else are you going to do? I mean, it's just adding to the misery of Leafs Nation right now. 5 points out of a playoff spot, ridiculous. Had to make hay at home where they had played really well all season long, and they've gone kerplunk, just absolute bush league, Mike. 30 games to go for the Maple Leafs. Here's the math on it. 57 points in the bag right now on the outside of the wild card race looking in. The Leafs have to at least go 20-10. So that's, make a couple of wins between now and the break before the Olympics, and then just go off in the last 25 games. From what we have seen of this team of late, what gives you any indication, and I'm speaking to the most hopeful of the OGs and converts, that this team is going to be able to pull off any kind of miracle? Mike, I agree with you. I think the season is over. It's time to plan for the future.
Well, the problem is that you really can't plan for the future when you don't have draft picks. And this team doesn't have a first-round pick. You would say, well, we should tank, but you don't have a first-round pick, so there's not, and I mean, I don't know. Well, first things first. When it comes to, we don't know right now what the dynamic in terms of the management, in terms of the coaching staff, are with this team.
Right.
There is some speculation that Brad Treliving, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, he's going to get fired. If that's the case, then take Craig Berube with him. Craig Berube is too busy working out in the gym and dropping barbells on his head and looking like Scarhead.
But it doesn't seem like they're on the same page. Case in point, the Anthony Stolarz start.
Well, see, this is the thing. Everything is left up to interpretation. The Elliot Friedman reported about it yesterday on the headlines on Hockey Night in Canada, and said, he dug into this situation because Berube, after the game, was asked about, was it wise, or was it, what was the behind Stolarz
Right.
Starting that game after not playing since November the 11th and going down on an AHL conditioning stint, but never playing a game. And he said, that wasn't my call. Okay, you're the head coach. Who the hell's call is it?
Right.
I mean, now Friedman said that Stolarz would only agree to going down on a conditioning stint. He didn't want to play a game in the American Hockey League. He wanted to restart in the NHL. Okay.
Does he have that kind of power?
Well, that's exactly my point, Norm. Who the fuck is Anthony Stolarz to make those calls? I'm sorry. It's like the medical staff of this team, the medical staff that characterized him as day-to-day for 2 months. And, he had a nerve issue, whatever that means. If it's a neck, I mean, I don't know. All I know is he was rusty. He was bad on rebound control.
Yeah,
he was terrible in that game, and he should not have started. Now, had they put the same performance in front of Joseph Wall, it wouldn't have mattered because they were asleep at the wheel for the first half of that game and only woke up when it was 4-1. And like they did today, you come out in a coma, and then you hope that by the middle of the game you're still in it, and then you try. I mean, nobody expects 60-minute efforts anymore from almost any team in this league, but this team just seems to not be allergic to putting together a consistent and cohesive effort.
It's been a roller coaster this season, and not the best of roller coasters. 2 weeks, about a month ago, it was outrage over what was going on with the team. Craig Berube this close, or we believe this close to be relieved of his duties. He's obviously still the head coach of the Maple Leafs. 2 weeks back, there was hope and a little bit of optimism based on recent play, the team ticking up in the standings. Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks later, here we sit today after getting trounced by the Avs, who have to be the outright favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Not saying they're going to, but 6 losses all season? Mm-hmm. It has to be acceptance that this season isn't going to do it. And you go back the last 10 days, 2 games against Mitch Marner and the Vegas Golden Knights, 1 in Las Vegas, 1 in Toronto, 1 point to show from it. I mean, Marner didn't exactly light it up. I mean, that was Mark Stone's job, but I mean, with so much at stake, I mean, just the posturing, the want to show that you care about your fan base and that you take yourself seriously in terms of what you're trying to accomplish, just not there. I mean, if it's a succession of shitty things happening for this team, and the question is, how much more shit is this team going to find itself in between now and the milestones to come throughout the rest of the season?
Well, okay, let's take it in total.
Right.
Because, I don't blame the players in the locker room for having feelings for Mitch Marner that are different from the fans.
Right.
They were his teammates for 8 or 9 years. He apparently with his fellow players, he was very social. He was very, ebullient. He was the guy who planned parties and whatever. And that's fine. I don't expect
still want to beat him.
I don't expect Joseph Wall to come out and say, he came out and said, I hope the fans show him respect. Okay, fine. He hopes that because that's his friend. Max Domi in the pregame on the Sportsnet broadcast was like, oh, yeah, he's our teammate for a number of years. We really like Mitch. We wish he was here, blah, 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 blah. Okay, who's to blame for that? Mitch. He's the one who left. He's the one who prevented all the stuff that we've litigated and talked about. Okay, but my issue was the angst and vitriol that the Leaf fan base had for that player was not reflected in the performance of the team.
Right.
That was the game that everybody had circled on their calendar. I'm sure there were people that spent $500, $600, whatever, suckers, if you ask me, because I wouldn't spend $1 on a Leaf game right now. If anything that has any kind of weight to it, because they haven't come through in the clutch. So, it was a complete dog's breakfast. And geez, Keegan Colasar yanks a jersey out of a fan's hands that had sellout number 16 on it. No ramifications from the league, no fine, no suspension, no nothing. Not like DK Metcalf in the NFL who had contact with a fan and he got suspended. No, nothing. Vegas was psyched up. I'm sure there was money on the board from Mitch Marner, some of that $12 million he's got from Vegas. That money was on the board, and Mark Stone and Eichel and everybody was all psyched up. And where the Leafs did not show up until they were down 4-1 in the second period. And then that's what I mean. It's like, now that's the team. We expect them not to come through. Here's where I have an issue with the fans. They booed Marner every time he touched the puck. Great. Applaud. But then they do the video presentation and they give him a stand. Now, there were some boos, but there was pretty much in the lower bowl, there was a standing ovation for the guy who stabbed your organization in the back. I mean, you are a bunch of, I'm sorry.
Did you not put that moment into context? Like, again, it's all's fair in love and war. We don't like you in general, but we will applaud what you've done for the organization over the 9 years you were with the team, and then let it go. I mean, they wanted, again, the team is complicit in how everything has come together over the last several days against, ramping up with Marner and the wanting to, get some kind of vengeance, or, show some respect for yourself on home ice, especially, and it not happening. So, I see your point, Mike, but when they put the video on the big screen and they do a retrospect on somebody's career, it is kind of commonplace to applaud. Even if it's in jest, or if you're just trying to be polite in that moment.
Had I had control over 17,000 people or 19,000 people, or however how many people were, and obviously I don't. People have free will; they can do what they want, and if they wanted to cheer, they wanted to cheer. I wouldn't have booed the video presentation. I would have turned my back and just had silence. I would have just said, you turned your back on the organization that you supposedly loved. Your agent and your father, your manipulative, hockey dad, moron father, did this whole situation. Okay, you got your money. You're in the Western Conference now. You don't have to face the pressure. They're not going to kick Mitch Marner around. He didn't show up. He had one shot on goal and barely made any kind of impact. I'm just saying it's a reflection on this market that you cheer the guy that stabbed you in the back. That made me sick.
Look, Leafs fans, the ones who are generally not at the game are into what's happening, maybe a little bit too much. A lot of knowledge. And there was a lot of vitriol that we felt Mitch Marner should have endured and does. But in that moment, what do you expect from a crowd that we generally think is lackluster? It was extremely quiet today when the team could have used a boost from that 12th man. It didn't get it.
Well, so today with the weather in Toronto, and I guess the GO train was closed from Oshawa to Mississauga. I wasn't there, but I would assume that there were a lot of empty seats. It wasn't a full house. That was a ticket that I'm sure was sought after, and a Sunday afternoon game would have been better for kids and stuff like that. I'm just saying, if it was quieter than normal today, I think that was the excuse. There was no excuse for what happened on Friday against Vegas. He should not have been applauded. Like I said, I would have turned my back on the guy. And honestly, people say, well, now we can move on. No, we can't move on, because he's going to come back next year, and he's going to come back the year after that. Is it going to fade? No, the guy stabbed this organization in the back. He should be hated in Toronto for the rest of time. Will people soften? They softened on Matt Sundin. They softened on Vince Carter. They'll probably soften on Mitch Marner. I'm sorry, people. A lot of people, other people have long memories, and they'll remember.
Spike 11. I'm not here to defend Marner, my brother. OG convert. I'm not here to defend him. But over the time that he played with Matthews and Nylander, he scored more points than those guys did, and kind of fell off in the playoffs like a lot of the other guys did as well.
Kind of.
Had this been more of an amicable split, had Marner been compliant and did more to give the opportunity for the team to grow as he exited stage left, then I don't think the vitriol would be as ramped up as it is right now. But I gotta say though, Mike, just the fact that the Leafs, they lost that overtime game in Vegas and then just did not show up on home ice with Marner coming to town and Mark Stone, like how the fuck does this guy have 60 points and 30 goals or whatever it is, just going off? I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the fans. Forget how they cheered him.
Well, how does Mark Stone do that? He shows up. He's a clutch player. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like Mitch Marner's not a clutch player. He showed it, if it was
neither are the Leafs, Mike. They did not show up in that moment. Can you not channel the emotion of the fans through your play and at least take this fucking guy down for one game? They can't even win the ceremonial game, even if the season's done. Win those ceremonial games. They couldn't do it.
My line during the game was Vegas and Toronto both played this game like it was a playoff game, meaning Vegas showed up and the Leafs didn't. Now Marner, he didn't show up. Eichel and Mark Stone carried the weight. People said, well, Matthews was great in the second half of the game. The problem is that first everybody took the first half off. It was a complete and utter no-show.
Right.
So it's like, that's what I mean. It's like you cannot especially against a really great team like Colorado or a very good team like Vegas. I think they have a bunch of holes, or the hottest team in the league like Buffalo. You better open up at the drop of the puck and have playing balls out. If you're not, you're going to get freight trained. And they got freight trained by Colorado, and they got freight trained by Vegas. And on Tuesday, when I drive up the QEW to watch the Sabres play the Leafs, the Sabres are going to kick their ass because the Leafs aren't showing up. Now, half the team is up in the press box eating popcorn, and on the broadcast today, William Nylander sees he's on the camera and flips the camera off.
Yeah, I put that. Yeah, I put that on the community portion of the YouTube channel. They took it down because he's giving someone the finger. The garbage that's on YouTube, it's unbelievable. It's nasty. It's terrible. But he's giving someone the finger, and YouTube took it down from the community portion. Anyway, it's on our TikTok.
I've retweeted it. It's okay. It's out there. Yeah.
Right. And I appreciate that. But you know what? It's the season. It's the season in one finger. You've got Dakota Joshua, Chris Tanev, and the Leafs' most dynamic scorer this season, William Nylander, in press box because they can't play. Right. Even with those guys at their best with this lineup, the team it's a marginal chance for it to make the playoffs, Mike. So I think we just need to, again, acceptance. I think we just need to accept it and just kind of like let this season go, and we'll see how it all plays out when things are completed, and it's not going to go in terms of completion the way we'd hoped.
All those players, with the exception of Joseph Wall, were in the lineup for the first 6 weeks of the season. They were, and they did nothing, and they fell behind. They were 500, and that was a home heavy schedule early on in the season. Now, the optimists out there, when they go 7-1-2 in 10 games and they dig themselves out of the hole and they're back within 1 point of a playoff spot or even in a wild card spot for about 5 seconds. You'd have to, if they keep playing this way, Nylander gets hurt again and they start playing with their head up their ass defensively. And now, I'm sorry, right now, I don't know. They play Buffalo and then they go for 4 on the road, before the All-Star break, before the Olympic break. Okay. William Nylander is skating now. I swear to God, if William Nylander comes back the game before just so he can go to the Olympics and then comes back and then is on the IL or IR, how many people are going to be pissed off at that? Just like everybody was pissed off at Austin Matthews for playing hurt at the Four Nations and only scoring 33 goals. I mean, okay, I understand that everybody in Canada and a lot of people in the US and everybody in Sweden and Finland care about the Olympics, but their salaries are paid by these teams. And that's why I've never been in favor of going to the Olympics.
Right. I can't imagine William Nylander thinks the Leafs are going anywhere this season. And I'll guarantee, like a lot of the guys who have qualified to play in Italy, he wants to be there. So, I mean, we can hold it against him if we want, but other than, giving us from time to time, all world hockey and some amazing moments, what he is doing and he will continue to do for the Maple Leafs this season in terms of point production will not amount to anything but Game 82, and that's going to be all she wrote. OG's Converts, thanks so much for all of your contributions in the chat. We've got about 85 people here with us on this very cold and snowy day in Southern Ontario, of course, Western New York as well. Mike, let's go back to Craig Berube and Brad Treliving, and in particular the Stolar start.
Yeah.
Look, it made no sense to me that he was going to play a game like that. I mean, there were implications there. It was a big game that you could tell the Leafs were careening a little bit. They needed somebody who was stable back there. I mean, the odds were against them to begin with, and then you throw a fucking guy into the mix who hasn't played in 2 months. Now we're hearing that the decision may not have come from upstairs, but from the player himself demanding that he be in there, and Craig Berube just throwing his hands up and saying, "Guys, it wasn't my choice." If that's indeed the case, the general manager has no spine, and a player as contentious as Stolar's making the determination he has to be in the lineup after being away so long and in such a pivotal moment. I mean, heads should be like Mike. Heads should be rolling.
Well, okay. First of all, Stolar's was practicing. He went down to the American Hockey League because the Leafs weren't practicing very much. They were just basically doing optionals in between with their schedule every other day. Right. So going down on a conditioning stint in the American Hockey League made sense. But Hildeby was playing well. Their schedule was Friday night, Sunday afternoon, Tuesday night. Okay, so as soon as they announced that they were playing Stolar's,
nuts,
in the middle of the second period when it was 4-1, and most coaches would have pulled Stolar's, Berube couldn't for one simple reason. Wall was going to start on Sunday, and had Wall come in the middle of the second period, then Wall would have been playing 2 games in less than 36 hours. So they weren't going to Stolar's. Once you went that way, now what that means is you should have played Wall against Vegas, and then played Hildeby against Colorado, and then maybe played Stolar's against Buffalo.
So why didn't they? Why didn't they do that?
Well, because
Stolar's doesn't want to play in the minors. Fuck that guy. Just pay him and let him sit. They were fine. They were fine with Hildeby, fine with Wall.
Yeah, I know. And you could please. The Stolar's comments at the beginning of the season, him calling out the team for not standing up with them. I don't know, whatever. All I know is that the contract, the $3.75 million, the cap hit was great, but the term, 4 years. If you could go back, would you sign him to that 4-year deal?
Shit happens. Players lose their job. Mike, sorry to interrupt. Players lose their job all the time, going down to injury and having someone else supplant them temporarily. It becomes a permanent thing. It's funny, everybody's talking about Stolar's being a head case and some of the comments he's made. And again, if he's the one who's stomping his feet and threatens to take his stick and go home if he doesn't get to begin his rehab assignment in the NHL in such a pivotal moment as the ship is sinking, then look, he's not, he's got some issues. I covered him, and I don't talk about this. I covered him when he was with the London Knights, when he came to the team. He wasn't the easiest to deal with. The reason I don't want to bring that up is that's like 15 years ago. I mean, maybe a little bit less,
Yeah.
but he wasn't the easiest to deal with. He did come across as a bit of a head case. He would say some weird shit. He would deny talking to the media, while the Mitch Marners and the other guys, the Cadrys and all these guys had no problem talking to us for no reason other than I'm giving you the impression that I'm too big for you. It has nothing to do with really how he's acting today. But Mike, I'm telling you right now, if he was the man making that determination that he had to play because he's not, like, he's too big, or to play in the minors, or the Marlies were not worthy of his talents, at the end of the day, Treliving, they should reassess his position with the team. I mean, we'll see what happens with Berube, but find a suitor for Stolarz, especially with Hildeby coming on. Let's do a few more minutes and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, but the problem is that you just signed him to a 4-year extension, and now you're trying to ship out an injury-plagued 31-year-old goaltender who can't stay healthy.
But he's making money that other teams can digest, and why not take a stab at him?
Why? But why would they want to digest it? The guy can't stay healthy. I mean, we've firmly determined the guy can't stay healthy. So and right now I'm just looking at the Marlies. They're on the road. That's why they're on the road. They played in Springfield on Friday.
Right.
Let's see. They played in Hartford on Saturday. So he didn't want to go on a road trip. Maybe it's like, okay. It doesn't matter what you want. It's matter what the team is paying you. The team, the medical staff, if they think, okay, you're healthy enough. Okay, you haven't seen a puck shot in anger in 10 weeks, and you step into the game that fans think was the biggest game of the year, and you were giving up rebounds like you were rusty. And Berube covered up for him at the in the post game. Said, well, he got better as the game went along.
He gave up a goal on the first fucking shot he faced.
Yeah, that one he had no chance on. But that was a defensive breakdown.
Hello, welcome back. Regardless, if Austin Matthews is injured, and it's better for the team to have him sit in the press box and watch, yet he demands to be on the ice. I don't give a damn how many goals he's got. You tell him to march his ass upstairs. If these guys don't have the spine to put a player like Anthony Stolarz in his place, I mean, again, there's problems on the ice, there's problems on the bench, there's problems all the way up to Mahogany Row, and that's, Mike, I mean, geez, Stolarz had 7 decent games for the Maple Leafs last spring, okay? He helped them beat the Ottawa Senators. Alan Bester could have helped them beat the Ottawa Senators, right? Well, I mean, he was holier than thou for a minute, but sorry, Anthony, you didn't get your opportunity to lead this organization to a place it hasn't been to. You got run by Sam Bennett, and the rest is history. A few more minutes, we got to go.
Here is the situation when it comes to the Leafs right now. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Boston, Montreal, Buffalo are all pulling away. If they don't win in regulation against Buffalo on Tuesday, and then they go on a road trip and they play 4, that have never been easy games. Calgary, they get up to beat the Leafs. Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton. I think it's Seattle is the other one. Okay, so. Say you guys go 500 on the road, you could be 7-8 points out of a playoff spot. At that point, we don't know whether Brad Treliving has been told if you don't make the playoffs, you're going to get fired. Okay, Brad Treliving.
And if he's a lame duck, is he going to make any, how can you trust him to make any moves at the deadline?
That's my point. My point is, okay, you have a very attractive rental in Bobby McMahon. You have a very attractive rental in Scott Lawton. Are you going to trade them for draft picks? If you're Brad Treliving and you have no hope of holding onto your job unless you make the playoffs, you're not trading them. But then are you going to let those guys walk out the door? See, that's what I mean. We have to have a determination here of where, is Treliving, is he playing for his job? Is Berube playing for his job? You know, we know the players are always playing for their jobs. I mean, believe me, everybody says, well, trade Morgan Riley. Jesus Christ, how many times do we have to go over it? No move clause. He's not going anywhere. They could bench him for 6 months and he's not going to go anywhere. He doesn't want to.
So okay, so the Leafs clearly out of it. And Morgan is approached with, hey, I mean, obviously he's making some decent money. He's got a no move, but hey, the Avalanche or a team that is in, on a decent heater and has a shot to win something, inquires about him. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but why wouldn't he consider that, Mike? Why wouldn't he consider that? I mean, at this stage of the game, he knows how Leaf fans feel about him. If someone comes calling and they're looking for a fourth defenseman to kind of help put them over the top, I mean, hope springs eternal, and this guy can kind of maybe renew his zest for the game by going to a place. If that comes up, I mean, I'd hope he'd consider that.
He's a $7.5 million cap hit. No team is taking a $7.5 million cap hit as a fifth or sixth defenseman. You'd have to eat 50% for the term of his deal. And I'm just looking, I believe he's got 4 years left. So yeah, they're not doing that. Yeah, they're not doing it. So he's got
I swear I was not smoking anything before this show.
He's got
go ahead.
He's got he's got a no move clause for 2 more years.
Right.
He's not going anywhere. Now, the only option here is you want to buy him out. Okay. Yeah, the problem is I think most of his salary is in signing bonuses. So you're not going to get cap relief. Yeah. Excuse me. No. He's one of the few that isn't. Okay. So they might be able to save money if they decide they want to buy him out. Okay, then where's your number one defenseman, folks? Because you don't have one. You don't have one.
But Mike, if this team wants to change course, clear as much of the house as possible, and start somewhat fresh, having Morgan Riley on the roster impedes and obstructs that goal.
Yeah, but it's not.
So you can buy him out. If you can buy him out,
it's not like you have a young defenseman that he's taking the place of. That's my point. And this is the thing. It's like, okay, he's just one issue here. Right. There are a number of other issues. I mean, we're occupying our time here with Morgan Riley. In 2 years, Austin Matthews, his contract is up. If this thing falls apart, you're going to let him walk away like for nothing. I mean,
listen, we want players shipped out, but the individuals in charge of doing the shipping and bringing in things for return value, I mean, their tenures with the team and our belief in those individuals is also up in the air. So I mean, here we go. We got Buffalo coming up. You got 5 games before the Olympic break, 25 games as kind of the last hurrah for the Maple Leafs and all of the teams that fancy themselves contenders. And we're going to see how it shakes out. The math is certainly not on the Maple Leaf side, Mike. They have really no games in hand over any teams that they're chasing. The only team they have a game in hand on are the Washington Capitals, and they're in a dead heat with them at 57 points. The Panthers, Flyers, Leafs, Capitals, all at 57 points. 5 points behind the Boston Bruins, 6 points behind the Montreal Canadiens. Those 2 teams have the last wild card spot, and you don't think for a second that those teams don't want to move their way up the standings and get a top 3 position in the division. And a year ago, the Maple Leafs were en route to winning a division, and being in the top 3 was to be expected. Who'd have thunk that 1 year later, I mean, the Leafs would be in such a shitty spot? Last word to you. I got to go. My light's going to go out here.
Okay. No, I mean, you could say Tuesday is the season because they don't win in regulation against Buffalo, but Buffalo is a freight train right now. So I don't know if you're going to catch them even if you do win in regulation. They have to turn things around before the Olympic break. If they're 7 or 8 points out of a playoff spot at the Olympic break, the season is over with.
And how do you trust Brad Treliving to do anything to help this team in the future when he may not have a future with the franchise? Mr. A, thanks so much for being here today. We're going to catch your stuff at hockeyhotstove.com. Any predictions on the conference championships?
New England is leading in a snowstorm with 3 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, I would bet on New England right now, but I hope I'm cursing them. I think Los Angeles is going to win, but what do I know about football? I'm rooting for the Bills.
Oh man,
I don't want to talk about it.
And we don't even want to talk. We let you kind of just feel like shit last week, and we'll maybe in the summer,
Still feel that way. So there you go.
Okay, OG's Converts, like the content, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you very much. Check out our TikTok. That's where I have the image of Nylander giving the finger, I don't know to who, maybe to us, maybe to the season in general, while Tanev and Joshua both injured as well. Kind of just look on. It typifies this Maple Leaf season. I don't know. I don't think it was a great season to begin with, but here we are. We'll have to endure it together, and that's why we do the Leafs Convo. For Mr. A, I'm Mr. J. We are out.